My name is Commissioner Frank Avila, and I'm a commissioner at the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. And the name of our show is Clean Water Education. And today I have as my guest Kendra Sveum. Kendra received a bachelor degree in civil engineering from the Illinois Institute of Technology here in Chicago. She now works as a civil engineer working for the environmental firm CDM. She is an active member of the Water Environment Federation and part of the planning committee for the year 2008 Water Environment Federation Technical Conference. Thanks for being on my show, Kendra.
No problem. Thanks for inviting me.
And you know, we're going to talk about clean water education.
Yes.
And why it's so important to have clean water education, having education and educating our teachers.
Yes.
To teach the students. Because every day we read in the paper about climate change, about global warming, about pollution, about products coming from overseas as hazardous to the environment. And we're going to talk about protecting our water environment. And now, as I mentioned, you're an active member of the Water Environment Federation. What is the Water Environment Federation?
The Water Environment Federation is an international not-for-profit organization that's dedicated to preserving water quality. So they focus on advancing education, on spreading technical information, and promoting sound water quality policy.
And it's a very large organization because it's international.
Yes, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere because here in our state we have the Illinois Water Environment Federation.
Yes.
Which is affiliated with the national.
It's a member association.
Yes, and it's over 38,000 members throughout the world.
Mm-hmm.
And every year they have a conference.
Right.
And in the year 2008, this year.
It's going to be here in Chicago.
It's going to be here in Chicago, and it's the largest water environmental conference in the world.
It is. It is. They're having problems finding conference centers large enough to hold it, so that's why it's here in Chicago.
And that's why, because we have one of the largest convention centers here in Chicago, and people from all over the world are going to come here. They're going to have topics, research papers.
Yes.
On everything dealing with water. Are going to have exhibits with thousands and thousands of exhibitors showing their products, and it's a great opportunity here in Illinois or throughout the world for teachers to come and learn about clean water education, and Kendra is going to explain how the Water Environment Federation is going to work towards educating the public on water quality issues. Right.
This year will be the 14th annual WEF Teach program.
WEF Teach.
Yes, that is part of this annual conference that WEF puts on. And our goal is to bring 100 area teachers in to attend the program. And the benefit of the community is to spread the education and gain knowledge for everyone around on the water quality issues.
And so and this has been going on for 14 years.
Yes.
And and this is the first time that here in Cook County, here in Illinois, that they're going to have the conference where we're going to bring in the teachers.
This is actually the third time that this has occurred in Chicago.
And the teachers are coming in then. So that's excellent, because we do have a large population here.
Yes. So we try and spread it around as much as we can.
Now, who is responsible for planning the Water Environment Federation technical teach? No, water. We call it WEF Teach.
WEF Teach is its official name.
Official name, WEF Teach. Yes.
Yes. WEF Teach is made possible by the partnership of sponsors, corporations, water utilities, environmental consultants. They'll even have local not-for-profit organizations and just caring individuals all working together to put on this program. We do have the 2 member associations here in Illinois, and members of both of those associations.
Okay, what are the two members?
The Illinois Water Environment Association
Okay.
and the Central States Water Environment Association both cover the state of Illinois.
Okay.
And members of both of those organizations have formed a local arrangements committee. So this committee is responsible for helping WEF Tech plan the events local here in Chicago. And one of those events is WEF Teach. And WEF Teach has gotten rave reviews nationwide from educators where this program has been offered.
And it's an excellent program because as we were talking before the show, you mentioned that you're going to bring in 100 teachers.
That's our goal, yeah.
Your goal, and you're talking directly with the district, the school districts, and that whatever teachers come to this conference that you're going to teach, that you would pay that district the funding to hire a substitute that day.
Right. That's all worked out between our committee and then official agreement with WEF and that school district, and it's worked out from district to district.
Oh, that's excellent. Now, you know, I have a book here, and the book is the book that they're not going to go through all the book in the one day.
Oh, not with the teachers, no.
No, not with the teachers. But it's a very concise book. And I think is it only for science teachers or for any teacher?
It's science teachers.
Science teachers? And is it geared towards grammar school, high school, or?
This book you're talking about is the 10-day water curriculum,
yes,
which is a comprehensive curriculum on the water-wastewater cycle. It covers wastewater treatment, and it also, you know, the general topics of sound water environment and water quality. And the book is focused on 6th through 9th graders.
6th through 9th graders.
And the entire curriculum was created here in Illinois by local members of WEF.
Yes.
So it was put together by, you know, the local water professionals, and it's offers the teachers 10 full days of curriculum, so they get a follow-along DVD, they get handouts and homework assignments for every day. And it really covers the whole science, so it has details, definitions, questions to fully explain all the concepts. So when we bring the teachers to WEF Teach, they'll have a session where they're in a group and they sit down with a local volunteer, an engineer, or someone in WEF like myself would sit down with them and really explain this curriculum to them.
So you must know backwards and forward, Kendra. You must see we're talking with the experts.
Enough to get them started.
And you know, it's excellent that we're coming here because who's going to save the planet?
Right. Yeah. It's all about our future water professional
right.
engineers. That's what this is all about.
Right. Right. It's the kids are going to save the planet because. Recently, I did a show on environmental crisis, the causes and remedies, and we know the causes.
Right.
The remedy, we were discussing it, that it's going to be the students that are going to correct what we have done for the last 100 years to correct and save the planet. And now, let's go through the 0 day, because you have a 0 day to the 10th day, right?
Right. The 0 day is what we cover in our session to just give the teachers an idea of what their other 10 days will be like, and we can walk through them
yes.
and show them how we were intending it to be used, because it's 10 days, which covers 9 days of in-class and an actual treatment plant visit.
And you know, and we're, as I mentioned, I'm a commissioner at the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago, and we encourage anyone out there that wants to take a tour of our wastewater plant, and we have 7 here in Cook County, and we have 3 of them are considered the largest in North America, and 1 of them is considered the largest in the world.
Right.
And we encourage anyone to come and take a tour of our facilities, and that's where we're going to come and play a role. That we're going to encourage after they teach the kids, if they want to come and tour our plant, you just call us. But it starts from 7th grade on up. And you come and visit our tours. We're the 4th largest agency in the state. Our budget for 2008 is $1.4 billion.
Wow.
There, and And together, all 7 plants, we could treat up to about 2.4 billion gallons of wastewater a day. I mean, that's a lot of wastewater.
I know.
And you know, and what's wastewater? Do you have a definition of wastewater, Kendra? Wastewater is what you flush down your toilet.
Right.
You wash your dishes, or we're living here in an area where it has combined sewers, where your sanitary and your storm water goes in the same system. Or if you live in outlying areas here in Cook County where we have separate sanitary and storm, only the sanitary comes into our system, where the storm goes into a stream. And that's wastewater, and all that wastewater comes into our plants.
Right.
And so the education, and the book is called 10-Day Water Education Curriculum. And this is the book. Is this the book that you're going to give the
students? That's the book that the teachers will get. They'll also get a DVD that has everything electronically. Yeah.
And
but it's
and the DVD will have everything that's in this book.
Right.
So
right.
they could print out whatever they need, or
and then it also has a follow-along video to use in class and that sort of thing.
Oh, excellent. Now, so in day one, what's the name of day one that they have here?
Day one is the water cycle and dissolved oxygen.
Water cycle and dissolved oxygen. And I have here in the book, in the table of content, is that, as you mentioned, day one is the water cycle and dissolved oxygen. It explains the water cycle and how the water, when it rains, the water comes down. It's the surface water, the groundwater, and then it evaporates back up, condenses, the clouds gets heavy, and then it comes back down again, and that's the water cycle.
Right, and the teachers will receive handouts and homework assignments that go along with what they're going to talk about in the class on the water cycle and dissolved oxygen. Now
the handouts, are the handouts in the book, or is that an extra thing that you give them?
The handouts are all on the DVD.
All on the DVD?
Yeah, electronically, so they can print out copies and things like that.
Oh, excellent. And and also in day one, they're going to talk about dissolved oxygen. And dissolved oxygen, you know, as a human being, what do we need? We need what? Oxygen,
yes.
Right? The breathe, and also we need water. 2/3 of our body is made up of water, right? And my wife and I coming down to the studio, she was reading me some other facts. She mentioned that an elephant, 2/3 of it is water also, and a lot of your animals are 2/3 of water. So you know, it looks like our living things here on Earth is predominantly water.
Yeah.
And so we need water. And so that's and also it's going to talk about the nature water wheel, the water cycle at work. It's going to talk about the watershed demonstration, because a watershed is a large area. So when it rains in a watershed, it goes to a point where all the water is draining to. That's a watershed, and it could be, you know, in our backyard we have a little watershed.
Yep.
Or because it's all sloping in our front lawn, maybe sloping out into the curb and gutter where we have these catch basins where it goes into.
In Chicago, we live in a huge watershed right to Lake Michigan.
Oh yes, yes, and so also they have the water quality, and water quality is so important. Especially here in the Chicagoland area, because we're here living in the Great Lakes. Right, and water, we have Lake Michigan. I mean,
largest source of natural drinking water.
Largest source of natural drinking water, and we have to protect our water supply. And that's part of our duty at the Water Reclamation District, is that we protect our water supply. And also in day one, we're going to talk about excessive nutrients. They're like phosphates or nitrogen or that is affecting our algae bloom. If we have too much of it, it affects the dissolved oxygen, where the dissolved oxygen will affect what? The aquatic life. Because the aquatic life needs dissolved oxygen. And to have a quality waterways, we have to have dissolved oxygen. That's how we determine if we have quality waterways, how much dissolved oxygen we have in our waterways. and also we have erosion control. So all of this in day one, you may not be able to cover everything here in day one because it's a lot of things to cover.
Right.
Because I was reading in day one, you talk about zebra mussels. There, I mean I mean, let's face it, zebra mussels was introduced to us because it wasn't a natural aquatic life in Lake Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
But it came over, and now we have to accept that it's part of our aquatic life here in Lake Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you're teaching in day one. That's excellent.
Right.
And basically, when the teachers come in, I wonder, if they're going to do an overview on all 10 days or
Oh, definitely, definitely. We have day 0 as an introduction and how you would teach this to your class, but we definitely review all the information, to make sure any questions that they have. And when the teachers attend WEF's Teach, the day will be broken into small sessions, but this whole book would be 2 separate sessions.
No.
So they'll spend a good amount of time reviewing all the information in the book so that they're ready to take it on and spread the word to all their students.
Oh, that's excellent. Besides, you're going to pick 100 teachers for this education, this clean water education. I'm just wondering if WEFTEC will have in their exhibit hall, and I don't know if they've ever been done or not, but set aside tours to bring the kids in. There, that'd be a big undertaking. But
yeah. I don't know if you could keep them all in rain.
Yeah, but there they could see any type of equipment.
Yes, and we definitely offer that tour for the teachers.
Oh, the tour for the teachers?
Yes. So when they attend the sessions, they also get a sit-down luncheon with a special keynote speaker from the industry, and then after that, the teachers will get a tour of the show floor to get the up-close personal view of the industry and see all the equipment and meet all the professionals. But we don't currently offer anything for the students.
and that's all in one day?
All in one day.
Oh my God! You know what? It took me. I attended the last 4 conferences in WEFTEC, and we headed. Our last one was down in San Diego, and it took me about 2 days to go through the exhibit hall, and I didn't get to see everything.
Well, we wouldn't show them everything, but we'd have tours by volunteers. We would get the students and young professionals, groups within WEF to help us give these tours, and we would hit the highlights, the most important to make sure they see a little bit of everything. So it's a guided tour.
Because I enjoy going to the different exhibits, and there was this one booth that I enjoyed. It was the history of wastewater treatment and wastewater plants, and they had books there how they used to treat wastewater 2,000 years ago.
Yes.
Or running water lines 2,000 years ago, explaining and basically the process that they did 2,000 years ago is the same process that we're doing now.
It's a very basic physical process.
Yeah,
yes.
basic because it's a biological type of process the way we treat wastewater, and we follow that biological treatment into a chemical treatment here at our plants.
Some plants, yes.
Yes. And so that's day 1. Now in day 2 we talk. What's day 2 about? Kendra?
Day 2 is the groundwater, which is a little more in depth into the water cycle, which the following days just get a little more in depth what they generally went over in day 1.
Yes, and here in the table of content, it mentioned day 2 groundwater. It says how different soil affect the movement of water, and also groundwater mathematics. Because when it rains, here in Chicago we draw our water supply that we drink, we bathe with, we wash our dishes with, we water our lawns with from Lake Michigan. Right. And the groundwater in your outlying areas where they don't have Lake Michigan water, they use groundwater. And so when it rains, the soil absorbs that water. It goes into an aquifer, and it could be various depth in our soil, and that's what they use for their drinking water. Unfortunately, what's happening is that it's not being charged. I mean,
Yes.
the water in the aquifer is depleting. I mean, that's unfortunately that we're having.
It's happening everywhere.
Everywhere. So we're living in God's country here.
Yes, we are.
We
have to protect that lake.
we have to protect our water supply, because did we mention that of all the surface water here in the world, 1% is fresh surface water.
Right.
Right. And 18% of that is here in Lake Michigan. And 90% of the fresh water, surface water here in the United States is right here in Lake Michigan. So this is God's country.
Yes.
And I wouldn't see in the future, maybe 10 years from now, everyone be moving up here in the Great Lakes area just because of water.
Maybe.
Yes, yes. Our body's made up of 2/3 of water. Now, day 3. What is day 3?
Day 3 is drinking water.
Drinking water, and in the contents here, they have some experiments also. Now, I'm going to go back to day 1, and it lists the experiments that a teacher could do. Right. And do you go through some of the experiments?
Some of them.
Some of them, like in day 1, they got water pollution testing.
Right.
And could you explain anything about that testing, or?
It's a simple kit similar to what you would see if you were going to test in groundwater that you found, that allows them to test for dissolved oxygen or turbidity or any of those measurements that we use on a regular basis to make sure that water you've treated in a wastewater treatment plant is okay to send out. And
sure, the kit, any school district out there or any group that wants to get this kit, right? It's at a nominal cost, and it, as you mentioned, it tests for dissolved oxygen, because we need dissolved oxygen for our aquatic life, and also it tests for turbidity, which is the clearness of the water. It also, you mentioned, it tests for
it'll test for pH.
pH, because we have to maintain a certain pH in the water and not to provide too much stress on the fish. And so an average pH could range from 5 to 8. The average is 7.
Right, average is 7.
Yeah.
Right. But you can allow the 4 to 9 as your maximum, and we like to see closer in the 7.
Right, and and also we so those are the dissolved oxygen, turbidity, and temperature. I think we checked it.
Yes, temperature is also something.
And the reason why temperature is so important is that if it's too hot, as a human being, we all have stress also. Just think of us when we're in 100-degree weather or 110. We're providing stress on our body, right? And we're stressed out. The aquatic life also has stress. If it gets too hot, you're providing stress on them also. And so this is what that kit tests for. I took that kit, and I took it down to our Stickney plant, and I checked the dissolved oxygen. I checked the turbidity, which is the clearness of the water. I checked the pH, and I checked the temperature against our equipment. And the kit is pretty good. The results are similar to our results.
Good.
Yeah. Our pH was good too. It came out to 6 point something. I forgot it was there. And so now that's in the experiment. Oh, they got one going fishing also. My God, that's an experiment that the kids could have. And these are the in day 2 underground water, the aquifer which you talk about, and the recharge area. Now under day 3, you mentioned drinking water. Is that day 3?
Yes.
And under day 3, they have some experiment. You are what you drink experiment. Ah, my God, that's good.
Well, it's all designed, to keep the kids interested and excited in the science of the water.
Well, I think that's the key. You have to have classroom and experiment and sessions to keep the kids interested.
Yes.
And you have to bring it in a way that everyone understands it. Because as myself, I have a Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering degree also. And sometimes I have to read books that is at my level. So I could understand it. You know, and so this is excellent. It says, how soft or hard is your water? Because there's a difference on the hardness and softness of the water, and also purifying water, because we have, as I mentioned, we live here in the Great Lakes. We live in God's country.
Yes.
And we have the water filtration plant here, which that's not part of us. That's part of Chicago, and they supply drinking water to maybe over 5 million people.
Right. It's a very large water treatment plant as well.
Yes. And then water filtration. And then on the fourth day, what's on the fourth day?
Day 4 is watershed management.
Watershed management, and it's so important to have watershed management because we have to conserve our water, as I mentioned, and Kendra mentioned, other parts of the world. I mean, they don't have water, and we have to conserve we have watershed management, because when it rains, you know, we're in a water cycle that 2,000 years ago, they're using the same water as we're using now.
Yep.
And 2,000 from now, we need that water for the future of our population. So we have to have watershed management there. And, you know, and some of the experience that you're listing here in the book is wetland USA more than swamp, because wetland is not swamp. Wetland helps our water environment.
It's very important.
Very important. The aging of lakes. Catch me if you can, measuring stream flow. It's a good catchy measuring the stream flow, the velocity of the stream, because if you don't have velocity in your stream and your stream is not moving, it affects your dissolved oxygen. Because, you know, we at some of our channels we have steps, aeration.
Yes.
And that is to in some of our channels we're trying to improve our dissolved oxygen. And so when the step is flowing or stepping down, we're creating dissolved oxygen, and we bring it back into our channels, because, as I mentioned, aquatic life needs dissolved oxygen. Day 5, what's on day 5?
Day 5 is wastewater collection.
Wastewater collection. And we got, how many more? Explain the other days.
Well, they go through the rest of the wastewater process, but if anyone is interested in WEFTech, you can find more information on it at weftech.org.
Oh, that's good. So a clean water education, see, can